Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a dream.
Yeah. We're not a bad bunch. You know, most of the time we're wearing deodorant, we clean up. It's a whole thing. But you know what, y'all? In spite of all the craziness going on in the world, we encourage you to have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy your view, the view, and please don't lose heart, because we are all in it together, and unless we're all doing it, it's not gonna get done, so we might as well fix it ourselves. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Janessa Bishop. Senator Angus King gave his thoughts about the State of the Union address. We'll have more on that ahead. Plus, a man from the town of Lowell is now facing charges following a family fight. And Dover Foxcroft's fire department received a donation for medical equipment. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Happy Wednesday afternoon. We have a small craft advisory that is up until 7 p.m. Thursday evening along the coast. We're watching for some active surf that will be developing until about that time frame. But in the meantime, we're watching clouds moving in from the southwest and going toward the north and east, and snow will also be expected with this next wave of energy that will be developing with an area of low pressure. We're seeing it right there. That will give us a little bit of snowfall throughout parts of the daytime period as well. Futurecast showing things developing, and it will continue through the afternoon, backing off tonight for a bit. Notice a little bit more snow as we head towards early Thursday morning before we become partly cloudy. But in the meantime, gusty winds up to around 20, perhaps 25 miles per hour, a possibility today. We'll see the winds backing off overnight, but the winds will pick up in strength as we head towards your Thursday. But in the meantime, for the rest of the day, we'll have snow showers with temperatures in the mid-30s and that south wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. And then overnight, some more snow showers possible with lows in the mid-teens, southwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast moving forward, some more snow showers, temperatures in the 30s, and then cooling off. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, people across the country may have watched the President's State of the Union address, but only one member of Maine's congressional delegation was in attendance. Senator Susan Collins was the lone lawmaker from Maine to attend. Senator Angus King released a statement saying, quote, "Ever since taking office a year ago, the president has shown no respect for the principles upon which this country is based." It goes on to say, quote, "His actions have done tremendous harm to the American people, to our standing among nations, and to our institutions of government. For this reason, I cannot in good conscience participate in a function with this president at its center. To do so would require me to ignore all that has gone before and to pay him a measure of respect which he has not earned." Representative Shelley Pingree and Jared Golden also did not plan to be there. A man from the town of Lowell is facing charges following a family fight. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Department says it was called to a home on Saturday night after hearing 48-year-old William Smith was intoxicated and was destroying the house. He had also threatened to retrieve a gun and had left the home by the time deputies arrived. Officials say they later attempted to stop him while driving a pickup truck, only to find it stuck in a snowbank after he lost control. He's now charged with operating under the influence, and he was released on bail. Police also used Maine's yellow flag law to remove firearms from his home. Meanwhile, public works crews have been working around the clock since Monday's blizzard hit, clearing sidewalks, roads, and hauling snow. With another burst of snowfall on the horizon, our Grace Blanchard spoke with local city officials about where they plan to move it all.
Snow piles just like this towering over some of Maine's communities following the latest storm. And the question on many people's minds, where does it all go?
We want to move as much as possible. I mean, we've moved as much as probably 2,000 yards in a night.
Following each major snow event, Brewer Public Works Director David Cody says their crews utilize a designated snow dump near Indian Trail Park.
Lots of times we just run out of space to put it on the roadway itself, so we have to haul it.
Brewer crews will also haul snow to this site on the city's south end. And despite how tall these piles are, Cody says they rarely reach full capacity.
We've had to move bulldozers in and whatnot because we had that much snow in them, and we just keep stacking it up higher and higher.
The Maine Department of Environmental Protection requires permits for snow dumping to ensure compliance with environmental standards.
We have a protective berm along the edge to keep sediment from running down to the river. And then we just inspect them, make sure we're not going to be sending trash into the drainage systems.
The process can place financial burdens on municipalities. When major storms hit, the city of Bangor will sometimes hire subcontractors to help move snow to a site in Hamden, which can cost thousands of dollars.
Concern to the taxpayers, I'm sure, because it's tax dollar funded. So, but the keeping the streets clear and sidewalk clear is probably more important.
With more snow in the forecast, city officials are also reminding residents to adhere to parking bans and avoid shoveling snow into public roadways. In Brewer, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, authorities are investigating an oil spill on Pushaw Lake. The Glenburn Fire Department says it's near Lakeside Landing. They say they first became aware of the spill from social media posts and are now working in coordination with the Maine Department of Environmental Protection. According to the department, environmental spills can be complex, especially during winter conditions with freezing temperatures, ice, and snowfall. They ask anyone who observes a spill to report it promptly. Justice reform advocates say that 1 in 4 Mainers has a criminal record. Many are misdemeanors and in some cases past mistakes that those once incarcerated have moved on from. However, advocates say they can still affect people's lives and livelihoods long after their time is served. The Maine Recovery Action Project Access Center in Augusta held an event for those in the substance use disorder and recovery circles to get together with legislators to discuss the re-entry process. LD 1911 is a bill that would seal some criminal records for nonviolent crimes, including misdemeanor drug charges. Legislators say that the discussion revealed many of the barriers formerly incarcerated individuals have to face in order to live a normal life, which the bill could help alleviate.
I mean, many of my colleagues have criminal records. I have a very minor criminal record. So it's something that we don't talk about a lot, and it's something that we don't think about a lot, but it certainly puts barriers up for a lot of people when they're trying to get their lives back together.
By providing these resources and connections to services and changing policy, then we can circumvent recidivism. We can reduce that number of folks going back to the inside.
That bill is expected to face its first vote today. A recovery center in Piscataquis County is getting a major financial boost. The Piscataquis County Commissioners have voted to allocate $10,000 in county opioid settlement funds annually to the Recovery Wellness Community Center in Sangerville. The center serves around 40 people weekly through peer support, recovery coaching, and other additional services. Program manager Alan Burgess says financial aid like this is vital for Maine's rural recovery services.
We're of course thrilled with that because there's really not a lot of recovery services in our area. We're a very rural, very small area, so this is a major gift for us.
The center has been in operation since 2024 and is sponsored by the Maine Recovery Council and the Attorney General's Office. According to Burgess, the opioid settlement money will go toward general operating costs and keeping their building open. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, some business owners are faulting the president's push for tariffs. We'll be right back.
Want to save $1,000? Switch to Spectrum and we guarantee you will. Seriously, you can hold us to it. Switch to Spectrum fiber-powered internet and 2 mobile lines for just $30 a month each. That's $1,000 in real savings in your first year, guaranteed. Or we'll cover the difference. We call it the Spectrum Savings Guarantee. So call this number now, switch, and save $1,000 on internet and mobile. It's a guaranteed no-brainer.
Thinking of updating my kitchen.
Yeah? Yes.
This year, we are finally updating our kitchen. Doing subway tile and an ivory or eggshell. Cream, maybe bone.
Don't get me started on quartz.
Big island. You ever heard of a waterfall counter?
For everyone who talks about doing that thing,
And over there,
but never does that thing,
sweet little breakfast nook.
Chase has financial guidance.
See how you can start saving to make this happen.
Really?
Really?
Really.
At home or in person.
You could also check out a Chase Money Skills workshop.
That's guidance from Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Jamar Construction Products in Bangor continues to grow to meet our customers' needs, supplying products for site work contractors, concrete contractors, and survey and safety supplies. We are proud to be the local dealer for Hilti, Valley Blades, U.S. Fabrics, and Euclid Chemical, plus so much more. Stop by and see us at 1270 Hammond Street or give us a call at 907-4491. If you dig it, pour it, plow it, fasten it, lay it, or lift it, Jamar Construction Products can help you.
Keep your next building project on track when you plan ahead with help from Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center specialists offer professional plans with customizable 3D renderings available to bring your project to life. Once your design is finalized and approved, you'll receive a full materials list. And when you buy all your materials from them, Hammond will refund your design fees. Get your building project off to the right start when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Are your gutters weighed down by debris causing them to sag and overflow? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. Clogged gutters lead to costly repairs for your home, so skip the cleaning and stop the clogs with Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter, the world's best gutter, is a high-performance gutter with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Stop the clutter, get Gutter Shutter. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. In a marathon State of the Union address, President Trump told the American people the U.S. is winning, even as he faces the lowest approval ratings of his second term. ABC's Christian Cordero reports from Washington on whether the president's speech moved the needle.
With his poll numbers dropping, especially on the economy, President Trump used his first State of the Union address of his second term to paint a rosy economic picture.
Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Americans are paying more for energy, up 6.3% from last year. And the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation says that the president's tariffs cost the average American household $1,000 in 2025. But the president did not acknowledge the reality many Americans are feeling.
In 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years.
There were some moments of unity in the marathon address. The president honored veterans, the National Guardsmen shot on patrol in D.C., and the gold medal-winning men's hockey team. But the president went on attack, telling Democrats they should be ashamed for staying seated when he asked the chamber to stand and agree with his statement that American citizens should be protected over undocumented immigrants.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy.
The president praised his immigration crackdown but made no mention of Minneapolis, where the two Americans, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, were killed by federal agents. To deliver the Democrats' response, the party tapping Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger.
Is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family? Is the president working to keep Americans safe both at home and abroad? Is the president working for you?
Trump's pledge to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon was met with bipartisan enthusiasm. The president has emphasized diplomacy while also building up a military presence in the region. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
During the State of the Union address, President Trump continued to push that tariffs have fueled an economic surge for the country, but some businesses say tariffs are doing more harm than good. Fox's Dan Griffin with more.
Well, here at Access Laser, every time there's a change in tariffs, there are cascading effects. The CEO says that makes it more difficult to do their very specialized business all over the world.
For us, 97% of all of our business is overseas.
Stability and precision. They're just part of the promise CEO Gordon Blueshell makes to his worldwide customers as he and his team at Access Laser in Everett work to deliver their CO2 molecular gas lasers on time and at a competitive price.
We're in the supply chain that supports all the AI chips that are going into the latest cell phones, things like that. Medical devices, breath. We have one of our customers has got a breath analysis system that will detect cancer.
But he says it has become more difficult as they pay 10 to 15% or even higher tariffs for imports that must meet strict standards.
Should we be looking to change suppliers? We have our largest suppliers up in Canada. One of our biggest suppliers comes out of China.
According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, American companies and consumers are carrying 90% of the cost of the tariffs. The Supreme Court has also ruled President Donald Trump's tariffs violated federal law. The president responded with a new global tariff, which was reported as 10% as of Tuesday. For Blueshell, his 71 employees at Access Laser and its customers, there's a domino effect if they must change vendors for their laser products, which requires approval that could take months or longer.
We have to basically make sure that nothing that we're going to change will have any impact on the performance of the laser beam. We have very, very specialized lasers, and there aren't a lot of companies in the world who can do what we do.
In past tariff turmoil, he says some of their orders have been sent off to customers only to be rejected due to new tariffs by the time they arrived. He says they were then accepted later when tariffs cooled.
We basically were in a race to get it done before the potential for tariffs to go up again.
Blueshell says the company manufactures about 400 lasers a year. He says if tariffs continue to cause issues, his concern is losing the competitive edge on an international playing field.
They keep going up and down. That makes it difficult for us to really kind of know as a business what we should be doing.
In Everett, Dan Griffin, Fox 13 News.
The top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee is accusing the Department of Justice of illegally withholding dozens of pages from their files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, specifically pages tied to a woman who accused the president of assaulting her when she was just roughly 14 years old. ABC's Armando Garcia with more.
A top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee is accusing the Department of Justice of withholding dozens of pages of information from the files on Jeffrey Epstein, which he says include accusations against President Trump. California Congressman Robert Garcia points to what he says are dozens of pages of notes about a woman he says accused the president of assaulting her when she was a minor in the 1980s. Garcia said his search through unredacted records of the DOJ's files showed some documents tied to the unidentified woman were not released, despite the law mandating that all records be made public with some exceptions. He says he reviewed an unredacted version of a 2025 FBI presentation that outlines unproven allegations against several men, including Trump. An index of witness materials prepared for convicted co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell's trial suggests the FBI interviewed the woman 4 times in 2019, but an ABC News search of the DOJ's database found a report about only one of those meetings. It's unclear what is on those records. President Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and knowledge of Epstein's crimes. The Department of Justice, in a social media post on Tuesday, accused Democrats of misleading the public while manufacturing outrage from their radical anti-Trump base, and claimed that all responsive documents have been produced unless a document falls within one of the following categories: duplicates, privileged, or part of an ongoing federal investigation. Last week, the DOJ informed Congress that all documents that were required to be released have been, and no more are coming out. The Epstein files front and center during the president's State of the Union speech last night. Democrats wearing pins urging for the release of all of the files.
When are they going to release the files?
Democrats bringing some of the Epstein survivors as guests. Congressman Garcia says oversight Democrats are now launching an investigation and looking into why these documents were allegedly withheld. Armando Garcia, ABC News, New York.
After the break, we'll learn all about the Newport Cultural Center. We'll have the details when we return.
Good luck to the Hamden girls basketball team in the championship from Carpet One. Leo & Sons Auto Repair in Hamden proudly congratulates the Hamden girls basketball team on reaching the state championships.
Febreze. Love your plugins but wish you had more scent control? Meet the Febreze Plug Scent Booster. Enjoy the same 50 days of continuous scent as Febreze Plug, including a cord for flexible placement options and a boost button for extra scent. Febreze Plug Scent Booster.
Hello, this is George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation. Now, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, from the comfort of your desktop or the convenience of your mobile device, you can summon transport and arrange a simple, affordable, respectful Down East Direct Cremation for your deceased loved one. Just by using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com. All you need is the location address of the person who has died, their vital statistics information, a valid credit card for payment, and that's it. No need to pick up the telephone, no need to answer a bunch of questions, no need to come into the store, and it's still just $9.75 complete. It's so easy, even I can do it. For more information, visit us at downeastdirectcremation.com or call us at 207-225-5332. Simple, affordable, respectful. The button, only at downeastdirectcremation.com.
At the County Federal Credit Union, we value the trust our members place in us to act in their best interest. Whether it's providing low rates on consumer loans or raising money to end hunger, we work hard to serve our members and the communities in which they live. We are excited to bring the meaningful and impactful work we do to all Mainers as we continue to grow. Wherever you are in life's journey, count on the county to be your financial partner.
Most business problems start with one thing: unreliable technology. Digital Brains monitors, protects, and maintains your entire IT environment, keeping everything running flawlessly. When your technology works for you, your business starts thriving. Faster service, happier clients, more productivity, less stress. Clients don't wait, neither should you. Contact Digital Brains today for your free technology assessment. Digital Brains, we help people feel free.
No matter how long your to-do list is this weekend, do yourself a favor and start your day off with a homemade coffee cake, hot from the oven. And if you're thinking, there's no way I'll have time for that, just wait until you see how easy it comes together. We start with one of my favorite supermarket shortcuts, a package of refrigerated buttermilk biscuits. We cut each biscuit into 6 pieces. After placing them in a bowl, we generously coat them with melted butter. Easy enough so far. Now for the wow factor. In a bowl, we combine some brown sugar, chocolate chips, chopped walnuts, and a bit of cinnamon. This gets tossed with the dough. Then we place it in a cake pan and bake it off. By the time we put on a pot of coffee and whip together our 2-ingredient glaze, it's done. And don't even think about grabbing a knife to cut this, because it's designed to be pulled apart one buttery piece at a time. To get the recipe for our pull-apart coffee cake, just head over to our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with Kelly, where today we found a hot from the oven way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Excellent. Meanwhile, the Newport Cultural Center is a community gathering spot where folks of all ages get together to work, to socialize, or to learn more about the town's history. Our Jody Hersey takes us there.
Back in 2009, the Newport Cultural Center opened its doors on Main Street.
It's a fusion of a library and the Historical Society.
Visitors will find display cases with artifacts from the Newport Historical Society on each of the library's bookshelves.
The folks that come in that know the history of the area, they share with other folks. We have a historical committee who are available to help people with genealogy or with any other history questions they might have.
There are also workstations and spaces for tutoring available inside the Newport Cultural Center. On the second floor, there are 2 facility rental spaces for individuals, businesses, or organizations needing space. This is also where many of the town's senior citizens gather for weekly games and socializing.
I've been
in Newport for 55 years, but only winters the last 3 years.
Carol Whitaker is a frequent visitor.
I love the variety of books. I just enjoy coming and visiting with the girls.
This local gathering spot in the heart of Newport is not only fostering belonging, but also a sense of connection between generations.
It's a good place just to hang out and relax, whether you want to work or whether you just want to read a book and have some quiet time. It really is a good place to come.
In Newport, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
I was in a head-on collision with a drunk driver and was seriously injured.
I needed surgery, and the insurance company only offered me $1,500.
If you've been hurt in a car accident, you deserve more. More answers to your questions, more attention to your case, and more money in your pocket.
I called the twos, and he got me $350,000 for my car accident. Much more than the insurance company initially offered.
I'm your go-to guy.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Oh, no. Oh. I'm in my own head.
What the heck are you talking about?
I think I got away with something that I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid...
Finish that bucket on your own. Practice makes perfect.
Enjoy your new car.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease a Hyundai Elantra SE for $189 a month or get 3.99% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Now, here's your full weather forecast with Devin Biggs.
Thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, let's get into things. There's a small crab advisory right there. That is up until 7 p.m. Thursday evening as we're watching for some active surf that will be developing until about that time frame. And we're already seeing it in some areas. Not bad for us, 2 to 3 foot wave heights, and primarily along our coast, not bad just yet, while farther out towards sea at around 5 to 9 feet, and it will be increasing for us coming up rather soon. But in the meantime, we are seeing some clouds from the southwest and going toward the north and east, and we will see some snow accompanied with this coming up in the meantime throughout the afternoon period. And there's that snowfall right there that is going to be passing throughout the afternoon period. It will back off later on tonight before we get a little more snow coming up rather soon. So here we are right there. Again, this afternoon and the evening, we'll catch a little bit of a break, and then some more snow on the way early Thursday morning. That's out of here, and then we'll become partly cloudy for the rest of your Thursday. And then by Thursday night, not looking too bad. Things clearing out overall. Friday, we're looking pretty good as well. So here's the snowfall that's expected. this is additional snowfall on top of what's already fallen. An additional ½ inch to 1 inch expected from here on out. So as for today, we have mid-30s, scattered snow showers now with that south wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. As we do move ahead towards tonight, we have mid-teens, mostly cloudy snow showers, southwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And then there's tomorrow. We have mid-30s. We dry out, partly cloudy. It'll be breezy with that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. And then let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center. Friday, mostly sunny, highs in the low 30s, and then low 40s coming up for your Saturday. A chance for rain and snow showers, and then snow chances Sunday with highs back in the mid-20s.
Thank you, Devin. Well, an elk got himself in a conundrum with an unlikely object. Greg Lynch Jr. spotted the elk with a folding chair caught in its antler in Oakhurst, California. The elk was attempting to free itself. Lynch Jr. says he stopped to try to help that animal, but fortunately, the elk emerged victoriously by dislodging its antlers from the chair before human intervention was necessary. Well, New York City's Parks Department calls it Snowmanhenge. The department shared this picture from Tuesday morning. Herbert von King Park in Brooklyn's Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood was filled with a bunch of snowmen. There's no word on how many people it took to build them all. Well, that's all for ABC 7 News at Noon. Thank you for watching. I'm Janessa Bishop. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6.
The University of Maine Finish Strong Adult Degree Completion Program proudly congratulates the Machias boys basketball team on heading to the state tournament. Go Bulldogs! Finish strong!
After high school, I went to college in upstate New York, but then got involved with life and family. When I first thought about going back to school, it seemed really intimidating.
One of the great things about an online program is that you can combine studying as part of your day. The flexibility is really helpful.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The following is a paid presentation by Nano Hearing Aids, paid for by Hearing at Home, LLC. Are you having trouble hearing your TV or listening to conversations in loud spaces? You are not alone.